least a good way to get it.
That's all right.
Okay.
The ones you're going to do anyway, just wait to do them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now that you've had an opportunity to score, does anybody have any comments? Or? Okay, I'll take that as a no. I infer you'd like to do the analytical, but Stephanie?
And we can do that third section in...
Well, we're gonna organize the information all of them.
Okay.
Okay, the purpose of this is to go over, you know, and again, I don't want to end up ignoring the logical reasoning, because that's half the task, do I think? And remember the assignment we have this week, right? That we're going to do, we're going to organize the information in each of the 4 hypotheticals in analytical. We're not so much going to go into each question. I just want to be able to show you how to organize the information. And then this week, you'll take out exam 69, exam 70, and exam 70, and just attempt to organize the information. It's what you have to be able to do. You got to organize it, right? So don't think about the tricks and the shortcuts nonsense. Just, okay, I've done this, I've organized it this way before. It's going to organize the very same way. It's either organizing by order, or by assignment or attribution, or is it pure conditional? That's it, good night, lights out, right? And stop and think that there's a difference between organizing information and managing information, right? And so if you get stuck in a rut, you're an organizer. You're someone who likes, you know, every T crossed and every I dotted. So you're an organizer, and you're going to be in trouble, because you got to manage what you organize in this test. So you got to say, wait a minute, whoa, that's as far as I can go with the organization. Now I actually have to creatively manage. It's a great test. Okay. So, so you're taking the test and you say, well, what strategy do I use? And I say, okay, well, first you make an assessment. So I've now turned to page 360. And if you are prepared, you'll have a different reaction to this test. Think about it. Could you guys just think, look, if I had opened up to page 360 9 weeks ago, or whenever we first met, right? Would it be fair to say you would look at the information in questions 1 through 5 and not have a clue, for the most part, how to proceed? And would you be seeing it for the first time? For the most part, right? Okay. Well, does anybody besides me look at questions 1 through 5 and say, oh, look at that, it's linear? Talk to me.
Yes.
But you get, that's what you have to do. There are no surprises, but you have to prepare. Okay. So I look at 1 through 5 and I say, oh, okay. Sign me up for that. I mean, I may not do it first, but I say, that's going to go. Now I go to the second hypothetical. This has more stuff going on. What do they want me to do? I have candidates, and the candidates are being evaluated by other people. Am I missing something, or would that not be attribution or assignment? Talk to me. Right? So the organizational technique in the first one is they want you to go by order. And the second one is, all right, it's primarily, if not exclusively, assign somebody to somebody else. Oh, gee, there's a surprise. Let's see what the third one is. We have a 6-week literature course, and we're going to have the discussions. And it's the books are discussed, and so we have order here. Right? And we also have a question of whether or not books are summarized or not. So if you just stop, and it would take me a little bit longer to look at this third one and say, what do you want me to do? If there were any ambiguity about order, right? Say saying, if you looked at the third and the fourth constraints down here, if you just all you're trying to do is say, am I in familiar terrain, right? If you're on familiar terrain, you have an advantage, right? Would it be fair to say the first hypothetical is familiar terrain? Talk to me.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you're going to get them all right. Is it familiar? Is it fair to say the second one is familiar terrain?
Yes.
Have we bumped into some of these in the past where the terrain was less familiar?
Yeah.
For sure. And I'm saying when that happens, what do? you put it aside. You put it aside. This law is so tactical and so strategic, right? And the intelligence is ephemeral. It's not what you memorize. So I would be looking down here and saying, all right, you know, in that third and the fourth constraint you're talking about earlier. So if it's earlier, isn't that order?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's order driven, but you want me to tell you whether or not a book was summarized or not. So isn't that part of it attribution? Right? You say, oh, was this book so? You guys remember, not of course that this would follow any past template. You guys don't remember the, whether it was it the suspects confessed or didn't confess. Do you happen to recall that?
Yeah.
What is the difference between suspects either confessing or not confessing? And I think that was in exam 52 or 53. What is the difference between that and whether books are summarized or not summarized in exam 71? Would you agree with me? They are two hypotheticals measuring your awareness of the general principle that's up there. Talk to me. So, you know, so okay, but so that's fine. That's fine. So I'm familiar with this one. The fourth one, gee, there's something out of the blue. Oh, what would I do here? 7 paintings and they're the first position being closest to the entrance, the 7th being furthest from the entrance. What are they asking you to do? Hugs. That doesn't mean any of this is going to be easy, right? They may have some of these where the organizational part of it is really, you get to do a lot of organization, and so there's not a lot of management. And there'll be other hypotheticals maybe where they're not really letting you organize at all. You know, you're going to have a skeletal outline, but you're going to have to manage. Are you guys aware of what I'm saying? Because it's the intelligence you're being tested for, right? Okay. So, for me, I wouldn't care. In terms of how I'm going to approach this, it wouldn't really matter to me. So we'll just do it, although I urge you not to do it in order unless that's what is most beneficial to you. Here's one where I would not be putting one aside. I mean, I recognize them. So let's see how long it takes to, again, the goal is to organize, right? Then see what you have to manage. Pick a single question out. Right? So you're going to identify an issue that on its face appears to be resolvable, right? Apply that one resolvable issue to the work you have done, and if it resolves the issue, isn't that evidence that the organization you have done is productive? That's it. And when you hit a brick wall, get out. You know, don't get into this, well, there are 5 questions in this analytical framework, right? This hypothetical. So I have to answer all 5 or I wasted my... No, you don't have to all 5. You don't. And if you can't manage and organize the information, you're not going to be able to. Okay, so let's try 1 through 5. Eva, would you be good enough to give this a read?
A movie studio is scheduling the release of 6 films. F, G, H, J, K, and L. No 2 of these films can be released on the same day. The release schedule is governed by the following conditions.
Boy, doesn't get any more straightforward than that. Now, what are my constraints?
F must be released earlier than both J and L.
So F is earlier than J as well as L. Underline F, underline J, underline L. Do not be in a rush. What's next?
K must be released earlier than J.
K has got to be released earlier than J.
And J must be released earlier than H.
And J is earlier than H. Okay, next.
And L must be released earlier than G.
L is earlier than G.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is that it? Talk to me. Okay. So you realize now what you can do, right? Now, I don't know how long it would take you to do that, but if it took you 90 seconds, it was probably about 40 seconds too long. What's new here? We haven't done this before? Okay. So, if you want to answer the first question now, you would answer the first question now. So long as that first question begins with the word which, right? Here and almost no place else you will use the process of elimination, right? If that first question begins with the word which, you don't have to organize to answer it, because it's just going to violate, 4 of the 5 choices are going to violate these constraints. Okay. So now we need to organize. I look at the J and the L. Does everybody understand why I look at the J and the L? Or you're looking for an organizing principle, right? The organizing principle is some witnesses have more information than other witnesses. Some evidence is more important than other evidence, right? So J and L have each been constricted twice. So here, I now know, just look at that, right? That I'm going to move this up here. Okay, so let's try with, I'm going to take the FJL and is it fair to say the manner in which we're organizing is what I'm referring to as a tree? How many times have we seen this? It's preparation. They give material that's not in the public domain. They give material that you actually have to prepare and learn, and then they put it on the test. Okay, so now KJL. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, KJH. So it's going to be K, J, H, and we have LG. Okay. And law, this would be marshaling the evidence, where you're taking the individual components, you're creating a fabric from it, sort of like the threads in the fabric. Okay, so these, I don't need these guys anymore. 5. Would it be fair to say I have to know how to interpret this? Talk to me. Oh, okay. Well, either you do or you don't. And if you don't, then you're not ready to take the test. But is it fair to say you've had opportunity in here to interpret this type of information on a regular basis? Okay. So now, there's nothing else for me to do. I'm ready. In terms of questions here, again, you're looking for that entry question, right? So just, like, not that you would do it, but imagine that question number 5 appeared as question number 2. I just want you to imagine that, right? Do you get, I want you to skip that question number 2, right? That you're looking to make sure you didn't make an error in doing this. And the way to do that is to pick the issue that appears to be the most straightforward. So, Eva, how about question number 2? Is it fair, what is the form of the question number 2?
Must be true.
Which of the following must be true? Doesn't that mean I possess all the evidence I need to solve?
Yeah.
I don't need a damn thing more. Okay. What does A say?
F is released earlier than H.
F is earlier than H. Bada bing, bada boom, I'm out of here. Yes? Does that not tell me that this is correct? I mean, if I have the answer wrong, I'm screwed. I don't have the answer wrong. Why would you ever look at B or C or D or E? And the answer is if you've done that, you haven't organized and managed correctly. So again, I just want to get these up because we are strapped for time. Does this make sense? Talk to me. So how, but again, if you run into number 5 and you don't have a clue what they're asking you, get the hell out. Don't you think, look, isn't one of the purposes in looking at each of the 4 hypotheticals for you to be able to say, I'm going to be able to organize each and every one of these? Talk to me. But if you can organize each and every one of them, don't you think there are issues in each of them that are less complicated than other issues in each of them?
Yes.
Do you guys get it? So this is not a suicide mission. This is not, I'm staying on the first hypothetical until I finish all 5. Well, go away. Do something else for a living. This is, you look at all 4 and say, oh gosh, I can organize all of those, right? And they're going to have some issues that are low. The low-lying fruit is what I want. I want to go to law school. Okay. Are we okay with first hypothetical? And again, I do want to get all these up, so I just want. Okay.
Can I answer a question about that?
Yep, sure, absolutely.
Did you answer one of the more complicated questions?
No.
You said to stay away from, just in case, because suppose your level, you identify the easier one, you go for it. So what's your second choice or third choice? You want to answer some of them.
Oh, no. The point of the first one is not to absolve you from answering all the remaining ones. The purpose of the first one is to make sure that you didn't make a mistake when you were organizing, managing your information.
Oh.
If I look at this, and they say which of the following must be true, and I'm looking at 5 answer choices, and I don't have the answer choice, don't I have to reorganize?
Yeah.
Doesn't that change my entire exam strategy? Right? If that is not the end of the world, but wouldn't you want to know that as early as humanly possible?
Yes.
And then wouldn't you say to yourself, I'm down to 3. I'm down to 3 hypotheticals. You know what? Life will go on. I'm going to do 3, not 4 of the hypotheticals. But if this goes smoothly, like this just did, then I want to get as many as I can get, being conscious of time and being conscious of a really complicated issue in the first hypothetical is not worth my while, insofar that it prevents me from getting to far less complicated hypotheticals and issues, right, in the third and the fourth hypotheticals. So, all right, let's try. Patrick, would you be kind enough to read whatever the second one is? Thank you.
The applications of 7 job candidates F, G, H.
I'm sorry, you got to yell it out at me, Patrick.
F, G, H, I, K, L, M will be evaluated by 4 human resource officers. R,
Mhm.
T,
R-T,
R-S-T,
R-S-T,
and U.
U.
Each application will be evaluated by exactly 1 officer, and each officer will evaluate at least 1 application subject to 12.
Okay, you're at the COLA, right? Would it be fair to say this is just all assignment? All we're doing is we're assigning these guys to these guys, right? And what are you told? Every one of them's got to get assigned exactly once, right? And every one of these guys got to review at least one of those. Now, you're looking for, and the thing about that tree hypothetical is the tree hypothetical is the instance where you really, unless they give you an either-or rule, like in the tree hypothetical, if they give you an either-or rule, then you're going to bifurcate on the either-or rule. But short of that, in trees, you're not really looking to bifurcate, because they're asking you to manage through what they've given you. You get here, you get this on this assignment, you look to bifurcate or trifurcate. So now, what are my constraints, Patrick?
G's application must be evaluated by you.
Okay, I'm just going to put it in there because that's, so this is going to be G. That's gone, okay.
F's application must be evaluated by the same officer who evaluates L.
So F and L are together, is that correct, Patrick?
Yeah.
So F and L have both been constrained and are together. Okay, what's next?
Neither H's application nor M's application will be evaluated by the same officer who evaluates I's application.
Okay, so where I see I will never see H, nor will I ever see M. Is that correct? Okay, so when I see I, and I will, then I'm not going to see H, and I'm not going to see M. Okay?
The officer who evaluates K's application cannot evaluate any other applications.
So K is alone. Doesn't that ring a bell? Haven't we done how about, I know, couldn't be. It couldn't be that they give you the same stuff, right? No, it's not possible, right? It couldn't be that they've given you a hypothetical that you've actually worked on, right? Where there was, let me see, 3 floors, right? Do you remember the 4 offices per floor? And do you remember that one office had to be alone on the floor? Do you recall that? I think it was, what did you guys remember?
Tax office.
Which one was it?
Yeah.
Labor.
The
Isn't that how's that's diseased? That you remember that. You remember that. That's disease. I love it. Do you see? These are just hypotheticals testing your knowledge of the principles that govern them. It's so cool when you understand it. What do you think law is? Oh, please. Okay, so I'm sorry. Now I got all excited. Who's alone?
Okay.
K's alone. All right. Poor K. Okay, what's next?
Smith must evaluate more of the applications than T.
And we've even seen that before. We've even seen before where one party had to do more than the other party. So S, you remember that one? I mean, I think, maybe that's one you're going to have to work on. It may be an exam 69 or 70, but we had one where there were people in zones, and one zone had to have more workers than another zone. And this is what? Do you get, if you prepare, right? They publish the information. It's all out there. But what's not out there is a culture of preparation. What's out there is you don't need to be bothered, right? Because I'm going to give you tricks and shortcuts so you can avoid preparing. Anything else? That's okay, so we want to bifurcate or trifurcate. What do you got for me? Which constraint or combination of constraints allows us to create 2 or 3 hypotheticals? Go, Patrick.
Bifurcate on the K
You want to bifurcate on the K.
at R and T.
At R and T. Do you guys see it? Because that's the intelligence the test is testing for. Is it fair to say that if K is alone, K cannot be evaluated by you? Yeah, talk to me, right? Is it fair to say if K is alone, K cannot be evaluated by S because then S could not have more than T? Talk to me. Okay, so what class in college teaches you this? Oh, that would be none. Yes. How cool will it be on the test? You're sitting there and say, oh yeah, cool, bifurcate on the K. Okay. So. And you see how we're still organizing, right? We haven't begun to manage it, we're organizing. Would it be fair to say we're going to bring the G up into the second hypothetical? Would it be fair to say that we're going to take the K and put the K in this hypothetical at R, and we're going to put the K in this hypothetical at T? Is that fair? Talk to me. Is the K now done? By K. So you had 7 variables and now you're down to 5, right? Do you see how it becomes more manageable? Because you're organizing. Oh, okay. So, but again, you can answer if there is a rules question there, just answer it. That's it. Would it be fair to say I have 5 letters I need to account for? Talk to me. Because that's what you're getting tested on. Would it be fair to say those 5 letters are staring you in the eye? And you don't try to bifurcate after you bifurcate. You don't try to trifurcate after you bifurcate. Well, unless you're home. And it's not against the law. Right. Do you get it? You're done. Okay. That's it. Would it be fair to say they probably want us to manage the placement of F and L and the placement of IH&M? Talk to me. Because you need to have an awareness of what they want from you. So now we're going to manage. Okay, I'm done. I'm done organizing. You don't overthink it. If you're that organizer, you got to say, no, that's it. You don't want me to manage that. Okay. I wouldn't go crazy about this. I think probably question number 7 is going to be fine. Even if it could be true, it's not my absolute favorite. But you know what? Let's try. What does Patrick, what does question number 7 say?
If H's application is evaluated by R, which one of the following could be true?
So it's a could be true. Okay. But the thing about it could be true, Patrick, is it fair to say that if it's true in one universe, you're done?
No.
Well, let's try this again. You've asked which of the following could be true, right?
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that would have come off on the stand, Patrick. So,
It doesn't have to be both. It can only be one.
which permits you, right? Meaning, if you just try it in one
Right.
universe and it works, you're done.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, it just means they're bastards, right? And you're going to have to go to the second hypothetical. Okay. So we have H is evaluated by R. I was just looking for a different color here. I'm short on. Oh, I do good. Okay. So H is going to be evaluated by R. We're going to put H here. Put H here. Did I have that right? Okay, and then what are we told?
Well, isn't the first one now invalid?
I'm sorry?
First one is now invalid.
Well,
Okay.
well, yeah, because K's got to be alone. Gosh, how nice were they on that one? So actually, when you put the K up there, which I didn't do, and you should do, is this. Right? Then you wouldn't even bother doing that. Okay. So we have the H here, and they want to know what could be true. Do you see that your whole universe is contained right in here? Right? It's all here. There's nothing outside. So other than saying I is not there, but would it be fair to say that I is not going to be there? Because if I was there, H couldn't be there, right? Okay. So you got to place F and L somewhere, and you got to place M and I somewhere. And then now, because it could be true, you do need to go to their answer choices, right? So what does A say, Patrick? Could it be true that?
F's application is evaluated by R.
Well, if you put F in R, what's the problem? Don't you then have to put L there?
Yeah.
So if you do that, right? You put F here, everybody agree you have to put L here, right?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say you are now left with I and M? Is it fair to say that I and M cannot both go here? And is it fair to say that violates this constraint that there are more at S than there are at T?
Yeah.
But do you see how in it could be true, you're stuck to a certain degree, because you got to go through that kind of analysis. Does everybody see it? Talk to me. Okay, so that's not the answer. What does B say?
I's application is evaluated by S.
I'm sorry, I's with S? And then you just look over here, right? Everybody's got one there, right? So, okay there, right? Everybody's reviewing at least one. Fair to say I could find some place for the M? It's fair to say I could find some place for the F and the L? So could it be true that I is with S?
Yep.
Gotta go now. B's the answer, good night, lights out. You get it? You're done. If you are prepared, you will have the confidence to pull the trigger. If you're not prepared, you got no business being in the room. Yes? Say yes to the LSAT. The LSAT's your friend and is very fond of you all. Okay. Does that suggest that this organizational model will solve the hypotheticals that are raised? Talk to me.
Yes.
And if you're in here and you're in trouble, just get out, right? Just organize, manage, Get 4 right, get the hell out. Because you've looked at all 4, and you know you can manage and organize the next 2. Could you live with the shame of like a 15 or a 16 on analytical? Could you live with the bloody shame? Could you do that? As opposed to the moron who's going in there who's trying to get the first 6 right because they're the first 6 and I'm going to get the first 6 right. Right? Because, you know, okay, you do that, you get your 6, I'll get my 15. Okay, how much money is that? 9 points on the LSAT. So yes, okay, because I'm gonna pause now for a moment and hand the floor over to George. So hang on.